entertainment news and information on career opportunities. Log on to mtgradioonline.com or mindthegap.com. That's Mind the Gap. MTG Radio, keeping you posted.
Welcome back, guys. That was Michael Bolton with Lean On Me.
Love that song.
So do I. Here on MTG Radio. If you've just joined us, we were just discussing something quite heavy, and it was just about sacrifice, and if we thought that our parents sacrificed in vain. So just to continue on from what we were saying, rewind. Woo! Okay, I just went blank for a minute. So, in addition to our discussion, we want to focus on the word direction. And, we asked the question, is direction in life important, or is it now more about being independent? And I do think that a sense of direction is very important. As people, we tend to set targets or goals with aims of meeting those set objectives, and I'm sure before we set that challenge before us, we have an idea of the direction we're heading to. So the nature, I guess, of human beings is to work. We want to be busy. We want to do something profitable with our time and get those desired results. And if we are not able to do this, I guess at times we do feel a little bit inadequate and start doubting our capabilities, and for this reason we tend to look ahead and plan ahead so that we can utilize all avenues available to us, so that we don't fall into that lazy kind of zone for a minute. And if we are not able to do this, we do feel inadequate and start doubting ourselves. If our children or the youth feel that they have nothing to live for anymore, then perhaps guidance and mentorship needs to be made available. And I know there is much made available. There's much out there. So is it a matter of people just not making use of what's already out there, or what's already out there is not adequate or beneficial? That's and as young people, Audrey, I think sometimes we think that we know it all, and we shut our minds to the opportunity to be better and to advance. And they say that as an adult has been a child before, but a child has not been an adult before. So obviously an adult is in a better position to advise. And I do you know what, to be honest, I do think that we need to listen more and talk less. It's as simple as that, and I think this will help us avoid some of our issues.
Well, I don't think we can talk about sacrifice or valuing things without talking about direction. Direction is very important, and direction involves training. And this may sound like a strange concept, but think about it. Direction is getting up every day to do something with yourself that will help you step closer to that goal that you mentioned, Angel. It is pushing yourself beyond your limits. Direction means going on that how do I say, going on that machine, in quotation mark, machine that you have avoided because you thought it was too hard, or it would make you look stupid, so people would laugh at you. So like when you go to the gym, I won't go on that one because it looks a bit funny. So let me not touch it.
No, I don't go gym, but I know what you mean.
Like, soon come there. But it's having someone guide you, like a personal trainer. And if that is missing, you will feel that there is nothing to live for. And if we really, really think about this, back in the day, our grandparents taught to their children and instilled life lessons in them, because that's all they could do.
Right.
And that makes sense. They used to gather the children around, and they would sit and they would talk and just tell them about life and tell them, do this in this situation. I've been here, so I will do this in that situation.
Believe me, that hasn't died out. I still get that. Trust me.
But many children nowadays don't get that. You know, they're kind of left to themselves, or left to learn life, or to learn about the ways of life by themselves. And this brings me to an article which said that more cuts by the Tories are putting promising futures at risk in relation to young people. So funding for job advice, further education, they've been removed. I think the first one removed that I remember was Connections. There was one in Walsden, and then it just kind of disappeared.
They just all died out.
It all died out. And these are because of lack of funding.
Yeah.
You know, and this has been so bad because there are corporate places like job fairs, graduate fairs, but they're so big and there's so many people going at one time that it's easy for you to feel lost in people because you will see people who know what they want. I want to go to this, I'm going here, they've got things sorted, and you might not have such a plan, and amongst those people you will feel so lost. So Connections and those kind of places were really good for one-on-one talking and one-on-one advising, and now it's gone. And because of this, I think that sense of direction is clearly important, and especially in this day and age where we are all about being independent at such a young age. So many people want to be independent at such a young age that you can't really be independent at a young age. You need to be guided to a certain point, and then once you feel confident that I've learned what I need to learn, at that stage you can move on. But I think in this day and age there's so much emphasis on being independent from the age of 12 or from the age of 30. I'm a teenager now. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's so good to be independent, very good to be independent, but at the same time I think sense of direction is very, very, very important, and probably needed more so than ever.
Absolutely, I agree, Audrey. I mean, being independent may have negative implications as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it is good to be independent because you trust in yourself and you depend on yourself, and they say that if you need something done properly you've got to do it yourself, and we've grown up with this. And as you're saying, from a young age we are told that you have to be independent. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some countries where and some situations where people find themselves in that they have no choice but to be independent. The young ones, when they have to go and make life for themselves because they're orphans, for example, and they have to go and provide for themselves. In such situations it is quite sad because obviously there's no guidance there, but in situations whereby the guidance is made available, why don't we just take it? There comes a time, I guess, when you've tried everything and you've gone to every place that you think could have offered you help, and you've done everything with your own strength, but you find the result that you wanted was not what you got. Now, most of the times when that happens, that is kind of your breaking point stage, because some of us, I'm not gonna lie, some of us we get so bogged down to trying to do things on our own, especially when you've been let down so many times and you just don't have any confidence or any trust in anybody. So you just have that mindset, nope, thank you very much, but I'll do it myself. And when you have that mentality, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But as I said, when you have reached that point where you just can't do it anymore, that peak, and you just think, oh my god, I need help, the only one that can kind of help you at that point is God Almighty. And you need that divine intervention. And there's a scripture that said, it's in Psalms 121 verse 2, and it says, my help comes from the Lord, the maker of the heavens and the earth. And I love that so much because although that verse is so simple, it makes us understand that the maker of the heavens and the earth can help you.
Exactly.
So if he is the maker of everything, why don't we run to him for help?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
You know, sometimes we tend to run to things which are temporal, things which don't even know you. You know, I once heard, you know, say you buy a product and there's issues with that product. You know, there will usually be a helpline on there or a number, and if they call the manufacturer. Where do you actually are directed to the manufacturer of that product, because that manufacturer made that product, so he knows it best.
Exactly.
In the same manner, God made us, so he knows us best. So instead of us necessarily going to consult man who doesn't know you, why don't we go straight to the source? You know, and in order to live an uncomplicated life, it is important that we acknowledge that we cannot do it by ourselves. And yes, self-will and willpower is important, but it is limited. And especially when you need direction, I would always recommend Papa God, because he knows the end from the beginning. I'm not here to preach, but I'm getting into it, man. I can feel it bubbling up in me. bubbling.
No, it's definitely true. I mean, we go to these agencies or these government bodies, and they say, if you're in need, we will help you. If you're in trouble, you call us, we'll give you blah 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 blah. All these charities and all these authorities who claim they can help you, but they all follow a policy.
Yes,
they all follow set rules, which if you don't fit into their category of help, even though you might need that help so desperately, they will say, I'm sorry, we can't help you because you don't fit this
criteria.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so true.
And then where do you go from there? And these are bodies that have been set up to help people in your situation. And you might have tried and called the council, the charity, Princess Trust, so many people you've contacted, and at each turn you've heard, I'm sorry, because you don't fit into this category, we can't help you. And in that sense, you feel lost, like you were saying, and you have to turn to God, because he's the only person who will probably, from another angle which you never thought of, help you.
It's so true.
And that's what it's about, and that's what direction is about. It's not about, you know, doing it on your own and thinking that I'm big enough to make this. We all need help.
We do all need help.
We all need help, and in that time, be brave to ask for the help, because sometimes it takes a lot out of a person to go to someone and ask for help because they feel that they're a burden. But that's not what it is. God has placed that person in your life for a reason. Right. So use them in the way that you're supposed to use them.
I agree. And I just wanted to add, I mean, if, you know, there are any listeners who have tuned in tonight, even for the first time, and you are at that point, myself and Audrey, we just want to recommend God to you, because after we've tried, or you've tried everything, you know how you've gone through, you know, all your documents, and your house is upside down, and you've called everyone in your phone book, and it's just not happening, I would recommend God, because he will most definitely meet you at your point of need.
Exactly.
And with that in mind, we want to know what you guys think. It's Radio MTG, #HappyHourMTG.